The problem that you think you have is not your real problem. So during this audio, by the end of it, you'll know how to get to the real problem in your mind and what you can do to solve it. My name is Alex Morgan, and I help you align your actions, your beliefs, your dreams, and your thinking so that you can achieve success. And success is here, and you might as well be ready for it. And one of the easiest ways to be ready for it is to have a simple ways to know what your real problems are and to solve them. So have you ever been talking to someone, you're thinking of something, and this happens to me all the time. I'm working with clients and they come in and they say they want to do simple things, stop simple problems, what they think may be a bad habit. So for example, let's take quitting smoking, let's take losing weight, or stopping any other sort of minor behavior that's keeping them from what they want. However, this is probably not the real problem. There's something much deeper than that. So you can look at it. This is on the surface. So imagine like a piece of paper and it says smoking on the top. And then if you were to ask a series of questions below that with different numbers, let's say, by the time you get to a higher number, that would be your real problem. So there's a reason why this actually happens, and it's a communication model that we have in our unconscious mind. So anytime an event happens outside of us, we filter this first with our five senses. And after we filter that through our five senses, it goes into our neurology. And from there, because of all the information going on around us, we can't possibly have so many pictures, sounds, feelings, all this in our mind. So we delete, we distort, and we generalize. So that's why when you're thinking about things, oftentimes you delete things, you distort things, and you generalize things. And you may even think that what is your actual problem is not your problem because of this deletion, distortion, and generalization. Now, how do we do that? We actually filter that information. We delete, distort, and generalize based off of our beliefs, based off of our values, our memories. We have different unconscious preferences through things like this. So if you think about it, you see an event, it happens, and then you start to go to your reality. If you go to someone else, they may have a completely different recollection of the event. It may be a problem for them and not for you, or it may be a problem for you and not for that person. So this is kind of the thinking we have before we actually know how to get rid of a problem. This is why oftentimes the problems we have are not the problems, because we're filtering everything, we're deleting, distorting, and generalizing. So your map of the world on the inside of you is probably not necessarily matching everything on the outside because everything's been deleted, distorted, and generalized. Not everything, but the majority of it. Let's say there's 12 million bits of information going on each second. Your mind can't handle all of that information. That's way too much coming at it. Your mind can really only hold 5 internal representations at once in the mind. So if all that information is coming at you, 12 million bits per second, there's no way that we're going to handle all that information. We're handling not much of it at all. And if you did, it would be completely chaotic. So let's say that someone comes to me and they have a problem and they say, this is my problem. I want to quit this. I want to stop this. I want to lose this. I want to gain this. So I'm going to ask them a simple question. How is that a problem? So for example, someone's going to say that their problem is quitting smoking. So how is that a problem? And you can follow along. Think of the problem in your mind, and you can write this down as I ask these questions. So think of your problem, and then below that, write down your problem on a piece of paper, and below that, I'm going to ask, how is that a problem? And then write down the answers to that question. So you're going to notice now that you have something written below. And then from there, so in the example, maybe it's, I feel stressed. Okay, so you have stress, so that's why you smoke. Do you really think that's your main problem now? It's probably something even deeper, because stress isn't necessarily like a really major negative emotion, let's say, or a limiting belief. Chances are that's probably the cause of the smoking. So when you get rid of the cause, then you won't have that same urge to smoke or do whatever it is that you want to do. So stress. How is that a problem? So you start with the next thing and you say, how is that a problem? So stress, how is that a problem? Well, I'm not getting everything done. Okay, so you should now have 3 things on your paper. Okay, you're not getting everything done. How is that a problem? Well, then I don't have enough time to do what I want to do. Interesting. Okay, and how is that a problem? Then I don't feel like I can accomplish anything. Okay, and how is that a problem? I don't feel good enough. There we go. So now we're down to a bigger, broader, more limiting belief. So anytime I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I can't be loved, I don't want to make enough money, I can't make enough money, something like this, or it's a fear, or something like this, chances are now we're getting close to problem. A lot of people in business, they have a big conflict between freedom and responsibility. They want to have the freedom to have their own business, yet they don't actually feel like they have freedom because then they have so many responsibilities. So if it was something to do with freedom or responsibility or something to do with business and money, maybe you came up with that as the answer. However, you keep asking that until how's it a problem, how's it a problem, how's it a problem, how's it a problem, until it sounds like it's a big enough problem, something that if you were to let go of that, it would let go of all the other things that came before it. So now that you have this, it's really easy to let go of this problem. So let's say I'm not good enough. You're going to ask yourself, when did I decide to create this? So at some point in your life, you created this belief. Doesn't mean that you personally created it. Maybe you overheard a conversation, something like this. Or maybe you did something and you just totally felt like that, and you've been holding on to that belief ever since for whatever reason. Good thing is you were born limitless, and once you let go of this, you can be limitless again. So when did you decide to create it? So you should be doing this on your paper as well, so you can find this. The next question is, what can I learn from this? So make the learnings about you. They're in the present moment, and it's really good if the learnings have the words I am or I have, so it feels like the learning is definitely for you. So for example, maybe someone thinks that I'm capable, I'm confident, I have good relationships with people, I have abundance. Those are really good learnings for someone who thinks that they're not good enough. For some reason, they have that belief. So once your mind starts to learn things, you're now reprogramming your mind. Because if you think about it, you had a program before. However, a belief installs a program, and when you start doubting yourself and limiting yourself, it's like you're taking that program out because you were born with a belief that you were good enough. And now that you have learnings, we're ready to now install a new program. So all those learnings can become new programs in your mind because you believe in these. And so the third question, so you can really flip your mind and start doing something totally different, you can ask yourself, what would you like to do instead, or what would you like to feel instead if it's an emotion, something like this, and write down these answers. And now this is flipping your mind to see that you have new choices, opportunities, and possibilities, because so many problems, people think that they don't have other choices. So when you do this exercise and you find the root of your problem, it shows you that you have choices. You have different choices. A lot of people with negative emotions, they think they don't have any other choice, and their default mode is that anger, that fear, that sadness, that hurt, that guilt, that regret, that frustration, that irritation, that shame, whatever it is. So what do you want to feel instead? What do you want to do instead? What other choices do you want to give yourself now that you have a totally different belief? And think about, what are you truly capable of now that you've gotten to the bottom of that problem and you can totally change it? So thanks so much for listening. Definitely share this with someone who will benefit. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the audio and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone who's been subscribing lately. Go ahead and comment below so we can build a community of a bunch of people who are wanting to create their ideal future. What is it that you want to do instead? Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next video or the next audio.